Welcome to another edition of Speak English Fluently. I am your host, Steve Hatherly, and I thank you for joining us once again. I'm very excited today because my guest is Mr. Eric Wesch. He is originally from South Africa. He's been in Korea for about 10 years now in total, teaching English. But in 2019, that's when Eric decided to start a YouTube channel, and the channel is called Etacude. Now, it's an interesting channel because it's about education, but it's focusing on teachers. It's a channel that is dedicated to helping teachers become, quote, and I quote from the YouTube channel, an unstoppable force in the classroom. Mr. Eric Wesch, thank you very much for joining me today. It's a real pleasure to meet you.
Hi, Steve. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here today.
I've just come from visiting your YouTube channel and watching some of your videos, and we're going to talk a lot about Etacude and what it is and what it's for. But first, let's start by talking about you. You are from South Africa originally. Which part, may I ask?
Well, South Africa is very interesting. You've got Johannesburg at in the north, and then you've got Cape Town in the south. The easiest way for me to explain is that I live about an hour away from Johannesburg.
Okay, very good. Would that be considered the countryside a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. It's not a city. I grew up in a town with a population of 200,000 people, so not very big.
Oh, that's huge.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's big, yeah.
Very good. What made you come to Korea originally, I wonder?
Well, I started teaching in 2007, and I taught in South Africa for a couple of years.
Okay.
But because South Africa is so far away from, well, the rest of the world, I wanted to explore and see other places. So I did some research on countries to travel and to teach at. And I heard some good things about South Korea. And then, just came to South Korea to teach. And I've been here ever since.
And you learned that all of those good things that you heard before were very, very true, right?
Most of them, definitely.
Were you teaching English as a second language in South Africa, or were you teaching in the public school system?
I was teaching in the public school system, and I had to teach a few topics, a few subjects. One was English, and the other one was I had to teach some social sciences. So I had a few classes, but it was at a public school.
I see. From looking at your YouTube channel and reading your channel description, I saw and learned that you've taught almost all ages here in the country.
I'm very fortunate to have taught all ages. I've taught kindergarten, I've taught elementary school a lot, I've taught high school, and now currently I'm teaching at a university. I've also had the opportunity to work with adults to teach business and other types of career-related topics too.
Very good. Is there any particular age group that stands out to you as your favorite?
Well, every age group has its benefits and, well, also its struggles or its challenges. And I feel with younger learners, they have a lot of energy and you can have fun with them, but it's also very draining. Then with older students, they are very self-motivated, but and you don't have to struggle with classroom management, but it's sometimes difficult to get them to talk and to be excited about a topic. So to answer your question, I actually prefer right now to teach adults or students because they are much easier. But every now and again, I like to go and work with young learners because they're so much fun, and we can play so many games, and it's very engaging.
So you were teaching for about 7 years in Korea, and you're living down in Daegu now. Is that correct?
That's right. Well, I taught 3 years in South Africa, 5 years in Busan, where I taught at a science high school. I really enjoyed it. Very smart students. And now I'm currently teaching at Daegu, and I've been here for 5 years, so 10 years in Korea.
If you're not familiar with the geography of Korea, Daegu is on the southeastern side of the country, right?
Great geography there.
I had to kind of check my memory first. Well, like I was getting to, so you were in Korea for about 7 years, I guess, when you decided to make the YouTube channel called Etacude. So let's talk about that decision to start a channel in the first place, and then maybe you can segue into talking about what the channel is actually about.
Well, I'd love to. I've been teaching for a long time, and I remember when I first started teaching, I was so desperate to find answers. I really wanted someone to help me, to help me. How do I run a class? How do I deal with students? How do I make lesson plans? What activities can I use with my students? And I remember this was while I was studying. I was a student many years ago when I was a student. And I was so desperate for help. And even though I had professors and other teachers there, I felt like I still needed more support. I felt like they have failed me. I tried to read books. YouTube didn't exist back then, but I was looking for information everywhere, and I just couldn't find it. And then for years, I just had that feeling of, I want to give back, because I know how it was to start without any help. And for years, I had this feeling, I need to try and find a way to help other teachers.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem was that I was deathly afraid of being in front of a camera.
Oh, interesting.
I hated the sound of my own voice. It's still very bad. And whenever somebody would take a video, I would almost run out of the room. And so at some point, I just realized that this need for me to try and help other teachers out there outweighed the fear of cameras and the fear of learning something new.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually I just bit the bullet. That means I decided to do it. And I started the channel. And 3 years later, here I am, not that afraid of video, actually embracing it and learning something new about video and audio and writing scripts and YouTube every single day.
Well, I guess you are being a great teacher in that sense, because you are leading by example. You are showing your students that, hey, I was afraid to learn something new, but I did it, so you can too. Yeah,
definitely. As teachers, we are supposed to be role models. And I think if we can show our students that, listen, here is this huge obstacle or that I have to overcome, or this wall between me and my goals. If you apply yourself and you work very hard, then you can cross that wall and you can achieve your goals. So especially with language learning, one of my greatest skills, I believe, one of my greatest skills is to try and get my students to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a language teacher, our students are very often shy, or they don't want to speak out loud. They don't want to communicate with their friends. They hate public speaking. Mm-hmm. So one of my skills is to try and get that out of my students. I think it's so important to show them that, there's by applying yourself, by trying new things, you will learn and you will grow. And there's nothing to be afraid of. There's only success that will come in the future.
I think you did a great thing by recognizing that there was a need for a channel like Etacude? Because I remember I've been in Korea for 20 years now, and I haven't been teaching in a classroom for quite some time now. But in the very beginning, when I first came, I could have used all the help that I could get, and there were no resources outside of, like you said, my coworkers and things like that. So you had this idea. Okay, so I'm going to make a YouTube channel dedicated to helping teachers. But that's a very broad topic. So how did you decide where you were going to start?
Well, that's very interesting. Well, before I started, I knew that my first video and my first idea won't be perfect. It won't be perfect. And I just decided to start making some videos on topics that I'm interested in, and also topics that I've heard people need some help with. I started out with, I think, a couple of words in Korean for new teachers to use when they come to Korea. So I did some, even though my Korean isn't very good, I wanted to share some tips and tricks to new teachers. Those videos weren't very good, but I was so proud of myself for being in front of a camera and trying. And then after that, I started trying new things, trying to do videos on activities, or if somebody mentioned that they needed some help with the first day of class, I started making videos on whatever the need was. And now I've got all these ideas of videos that I make. And whenever someone suggests it, I do some research and I try to present something useful to them.
Well, that's great, because you have an audience of teachers who are constantly learning themselves and asking you questions, and that helps you create your content, right?
100%. One of the things that I do is, for the past 2 years, every Sunday night at 10 p.m., I have a 1 hour live stream where I've got teachers joining and sharing what's going on in their lives and in their classes. I've got English learners coming to the live stream just to chat. And I get so many ideas from teachers saying, listen, I'm doing this in my class and it's working, or I've got this problem, or what advice would you give? So I've done 150, I think it's 150, almost 150 live streams of just talking for an hour. And I've learned so much from teachers out there. You know, when we're only one person, we've only got one experience. But I'm so grateful to be able to talk to many teachers and learn from them.
It's true, because everybody has a different experience in the classroom, right? That's really cool. You've done 150 live streams, and that's great practice for you to get over your fear of being in front of the camera that you obviously don't have anymore.
Yeah, I don't think I've got that fear anymore. I just realized, that whatever happens, just let go, relax, and do your best. That's all that can be expected of you. I think so often we think that we're being watched, or that we should be better than we are. But, I can only be who I am in the moment, and hopefully I can do my best,
The channel now is doing extremely well, somewhere in the area of almost 89,000 subscribers now, I think.
That's right.
Was the number that I saw. Was that immediate success for the channel, or has it been growing consistently over the 3 years? 3 years for a YouTube channel is not really a long time. So congratulations, you've done really, really well for yourself.
Thank you so much. I've been very fortunate to have so many teachers support me. I think I even though I work very hard, I'm very fortunate to have many teachers out there, and also English learners, so eager to learn new things, and that has really pushed me to be more active and to find more useful resources to share. So I think, whenever we do something and it comes from from a place of trying to help and assist others, you will only have positive results, and that's kept me going.
Etacude, and you informed me of this just before we started, and it was a kind of a mind-blowing moment for me. You can tell the audience what you told me before we started today.
Okay, so Etacude, Etacude. I've had so many teachers say, Eric, that's such an interesting word. What does it mean? I've had long-time viewers that have watched me for years saying, Eric, and then in a live stream, they ask me, Eric, how did you come up with the name? What does it mean? And actually, Etacude, if you read it backwards, is educate. Right. And I picked that up. I'm so happy to pick that name. But you know what happens, Steve? It's actually funny. One of my friends, Robin Shaw, actually gave me some good advice. Originally, my YouTube channel's name was just Etacude.
Okay.
And I liked it. I knew what it meant, and it was for teachers. It was unique. And then my friend Robin suggested, Eric, I like the name, but people don't know what the channel is about. So I thought, yeah, he's right. And I changed the name to Etacude English Teachers. Now, whenever someone sees the name, they know, okay, well, this is for English teachers. And the other problem is, if somebody wanted to search Etacude, they might not know what the name means, so it might be difficult to search for it. So after changing the name, I've seen a lot more progress. So I'm very grateful to Robin for giving me that advice.
Great advice indeed. So let's talk a little bit more in detail about the channel. What kind of videos can teachers see there? If teachers or students, I should say, should they visit your channel?
Okay. My goal is to make useful videos for teachers. So whenever I have some tips, some activities, or free resources, I share it with the community. When COVID happened, teachers had to move online. So I created a whole series about how to teach online. And then I've also done videos on activities because teachers need to keep their students busy. So I did lots of videos on activities. Especially, I like activities about everything, but activities about special events like Christmas activities or, Halloween activities. So those are very popular. For myself, I also like making videos on classroom management. Because when you start as a new teacher, you don't know how to control a class. So a lot of my videos that I enjoy making is all about how to teach a teacher to not just be strict, but be a good teacher and control the classroom and help them. And so those are the videos that I make. I make videos on activities and videos on teaching tips, teaching online. And in the future, I plan on making videos on how to teach grammar. So that is something that I will be working on for the future, is how to teach some topics related to grammar.
What is one tip, if you could give us a little peek behind the curtain, if you will, in how to run a classroom successfully? What is Eric Wesch's number one tip for teachers on that?
Okay. The first tip I would give, I've got a billion tips that I can share, but I think
share as many as you like then.
I think the most important tip I can give anyone is to, and this is going to sound very corny, but it's going to be believe in yourself. It sounds corny, but let me explain. When a new teacher starts teaching, they look towards other teachers for advice. They look towards someone to save them, someone to tell them what to do. Because their whole lives, when they were students, they were told what to do. They would listen to their teacher. Now that they are the teacher, they've never had the experience of teaching students, and now they have to learn. So what I would tell a teacher is trust yourself. You will learn faster if you take responsibility for your actions and you are the one in control of the class. And that is a leadership, that is something to do with leadership, where you're the one in control of the students, you're the one leading them, helping them to be successful. So if you trust in yourself, you know that the more you're going to teach this class, the more you're going to learn, you will grow and you will improve. And just that knowledge that you should believe in yourself, that you will improve, will give you the confidence to be a better teacher. So that is probably my number one tip that I would give teachers out there.
Well, I feel motivated myself after hearing that speech. That was wonderful. That's one of the challenges that new teachers face. And you taught in the public education system in South Africa, and you've taught many different levels here, age groups here in Korea. What do you think are some of the challenges that teachers face, perhaps in general, or teaching English as a second language, albeit here in Korea or anywhere around the world?
It's different around the world. Some things are similar, some things are different. When you teach your younger learners, you have to engage them in a fun, playful way, because maybe they don't have that internal motivation to study a language. So you've got to engage them with your delivery, with your activities, with the content. You've got to make it colorful. And then with older students, how you motivate them is you're going to have to make it as useful as possible, make it practical so that they feel like they're learning. So motivation is very important across the board, but it's different also the way that students are able to interact and do activities. For example, in South Africa and other countries, in the West, we love talking about ourselves. We love talking about ourselves, and we love sharing our experiences. We have no problem with talking to a group about who we are, a very individualistic society. Whereas in Korea, the students might be shy because they might get judged in a group. So it's very important to set up your class for success, to show the students that in this class, you're going to have fun, but you have to speak. And it's very important to get that out of them. So, different challenges. Some things are the same, but there are things that you can change that are a little bit different between the countries.
That's a great point, because I remember when I began teaching, I think it was middle school or high school students here in Korea, and I would ask them a question, expecting, like it would be in Canada, where I'm from, where, many students would raise their hand, and nobody would raise their hand. And I thought, this is quite frustrating. I don't know why doesn't anyone want to answer me? I don't understand. And then a coworker of mine said, they're not being rude. They're not used to doing this type of thing in the classroom, because that's not normal activity in a Korean classroom. So I guess another one of the challenges would be understanding little cultural tidbits too, when you're dealing with students in Korea or wherever you are in the world. Understanding where the students are coming from can help you a lot too, I guess.
100%. I think this is an interesting concept in education, and that is scaffolding. Scaffolding is basically when you build a house, you want to scaffold it. You want to create certain parts first and then add on top of that. Now, scaffolding can be used in different ways. When you scaffold a lesson, for example, you can scaffold by first introducing some vocabulary. Then you can give some examples in a sentence. Then you can give some examples from your own life. You show the students how to do it. You write it on the board, and then you ask them simple questions so that little by little they are learning. instead of giving them a whole sentence or a whole dialogue to do, you're doing it step by step. And that is very important to understand when you teach any level of student. If you're teaching young learners, you're going to start in a very simple way and then work it up. If you're teaching advanced students, the same concept, the same idea applies, where you're going to teach them step by step. And scaffolding, I believe, can also be applied to communication with students. When a student comes into class, you want to ask them simple questions to get them talking and get them comfortable. So you can ask, oh, how was your day? And they will say, it was fine. Or did you eat lunch? Yes, no. So it gets them talking. Then when you start the lesson, you're going to start off by asking simple questions, creating simple dialogues, making them comfortable to speak in class. I believe that's a vital skill to learn, is to scaffold the way that you teach and scaffold the way that you communicate with others.
Very good. So let's talk about the live streams that you do. You touched on it briefly. You do them every single weekend, every Sunday night at 10 p.m. 10 p.m., correct?
10 p.m. Korean time or 1 p.m. GMT.
And then you do these for about an hour each time, or does the time vary?
1 hour exactly.
Okay.
And sometimes I invite other teachers or interesting guests to come on. So, for example, yesterday, what's the day today? Today's Tuesday. 2 days ago, I had an Indian teacher on, and she was just brilliant, sharing a lot of knowledge and wisdom with us.
Very good.
Sometimes it's just me talking very fast and talking to other teachers, and other times I invite guests on.
Fantastic. What a wonderful resource for teachers and students alike. And maybe you can talk about that a little bit, because the website is not necessarily just for teachers, correct? Or the channel, excuse me.
Well, it's interesting. Many language learners have joined my channel because they come for listening practice and they interact with me. They send me messages, or they ask me questions, or they share parts of their lives. And I think, I hope that it's useful for them too, because a lot of the lessons and the videos I put out can be used by language learners too. Obviously, my viewers are mostly teachers because I try and help them. But if it's useful to language learners, it makes me happy that I can help other people too.
Are there books as well?
I do have some books. I've got one book that is 1,000 English questions and answers.
Oh, wow.
So basically, I found 50 topics and I wrote out 20 questions for each topic and 20 answers. And a lot of my viewers, teachers, use it in class with their students. And a lot of English learners use it to learn what are some basic questions and how to answer it. So that is one of the books that I created.
Very cool. Why should teachers visit Etacude English Teachers? What's the number one main reason teachers should visit your channel?
I believe that if you're a teacher, you can come to the channel and you're going to find out some interesting information about education. You're going to find hundreds of activities that you can use in class. You're going to find a community of teachers that support each other, and a lot of free resources that you can use in your class to make life as a teacher just much better.
There's literally no reason not to visit Etacude English Teachers.
Everyone's welcome. I'm so grateful for every teacher and English learner or person or whoever wants to come to the channel. I love to help, and that's what the channel is for.
Very good. Well, Mr. Eric Wesch, it was a pleasure to speak with you. It was wonderful to learn about Etacude English Teachers. Congratulations on your success that you've had, and I wish you more of that in the future. It was a real pleasure to meet you and chat with you today, and I thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve, for having me, and everybody else out there watching that. I hope you have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next time.
Visit Eric's channel, Etacude English Teachers. And if you're looking for more of me, you can visit my own channel called Storytime Steve Hatherly. You can find that on YouTube as well. Eric, you have to subscribe to my channel for sure. Yeah.
100%.
Fantastic. And I'll return the favor as well. All right. Well, once again, Eric, thank you so much. Be safe, be happy, be healthy. And I hope to chat with you again someday.
Bye-bye.